everyone got a spoon and a string, twine actually, and so we're gonna do that in just a minute, but what we're gonna try, you get another chance. What we're gonna try to do is hold the spoon, one end of the twine on one hand, one in the other. Most people in here have already done it. And then we're gonna bang it up against something, which I think you should go in the kitchen and bang it up against the kitchen counter. That's the best surface. And you should feel the vibration in your fingers. And then after you do that, let me just show you this way. I made 20 spoons.
Wow.
So you're going to, you want this to be equal, how far you're hanging it down. And then you, well, I guess you point it. Then you bang it up against something, and you should feel the vibration in your hands. And then after you do that, kind of do it on your finger like this, and then bang it in there and stick your fingers in your ears, and you'll hear bells. So if everyone would like to come get a spoon, and you can turn the lights on and then go in the kitchen, I think is, wait, that's my favorite.
You hear how loud that is?
Did you?
Yeah.
That's the best part.
That is. You wrap it around your two big fingers, your two pointer fingers. A little, that's it, that's good. And then put your fingers in your ear, and then bang it like that.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
This is so fun.
it's like a cathedral bell, isn't it?
It is.
Wow. Yeah. Did you hear it? Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing this at home.
When you're done, we can
That's sad.
come back into
What's
the
that
living room.
tuning fork?
The vibration. And it goes up through the twine, into your fingers, your bones and your blood, and you feel the vibration. And it's a small vibration. Now, if you heated one end of the spoon, and you were holding the other end, like if I had a, I don't know, something with fire, candle, and it gets hot and it takes a while for the heat to get over here. But the vibration is instant, pretty much.
Wow. Mother Bev, show them how you bend the spoon.
Oh, I have to save that for next time. So, the important thing about this is that, oh, let me, I gotta see. Yeah, subtle vibrations and frequencies move through your body without impediment. Just goes right through, because you have all this water in there, bones and such. It moves through cell walls quickly. Now, pills and medicines can't do that. You take a pill, you gotta swallow, it's gotta go down, it's gotta be digested, and then it has to go out, you know, whatever. And a lot of them can't pass through cell walls. And it even passes through parts of the body that feel numb. So, that's why you see, I think, a lot of these newer kinds of medicine and healings using vibrations and small microcurrents, because they instantly go through your whole body.
That's good. Yeah.
And they can do a lot of things. They can help the cells communicate with each other better. And the healing is based on electrical charge on the outside of the cells, water.
So we forgot to look up the percentage of the body that's water is 60%.
Well, it's like 80%. I read that today somewhere.
Okay.
But 80% water and 99% of it, how can that even be? Is dark matter, whatever. So our bodies were created to respond to subtle frequencies and vibrations. So now we're going to have a little activity with the feather. So I have a feather for everybody.
This is plug.
And this is how, and you get to take this home.
Oh, I love it.
If you have a long sleeve, you need to expose your skin, because we're gonna go like this on our arms.
We're gonna be vulnerable and expose our arms.
Yes, if possible.
What turkey
I don't think
did
you
you
did that in a
kill?
holiness movement.
Well, anyway, so you're trying to sensitize your arm are little antennas. You know how sometimes you say,
Oh.
the hair stood up on the back of my neck when I went in the room or I felt something, you know? They are little antennas. So he says spend time, you know, going over all your body like this, lightly, very, very lightly. And he said eventually you won't even have to touch your body. You just go above it and you'll feel something. So I'm going to give everybody one. I want you to practice a little bit with this. I want a new one that I haven't touched.
My little hairs are antennas, Bonnie.
We got lots of them.
Are these turkey or?
I had no idea.
I just know I'm
She
gonna
said,
make
"I
my
turkeys."
feather.
I bought them at the store. I don't know. There was a choice between white and black.
Glad you didn't do black, because Black Lives Matter.
Well, black matter matters too, or dark matter.
Black matter matters, Pops.
So go slowly and very lightly. And he said you should do this all over your body and you'll find parts of your body that don't feel anything. And if you keep going over it, that part that's numb, it will hopefully, you know, bring it back to feeling.
Should we shut our eyes when we do this?
You can, you should. I mean, do whatever you want. Try it with your eyes closed.
I can
Everybody.
focus better with my eyes closed.
Yeah, I can. Any comments on the?
So then we go over it and not touch, and you can feel,
Eventually,
how it just stimulates.
because there's an electromagnetic field. You know, we've talked about the biofield, and we're gonna do something else here in a second, but that'll kind of relate to that. I forgot to ask if there are any comments about the spoon. When you put your fingers in your ear, were you surprised at how loud it was?
Yeah.
Very loud.
I thought I was at Times Square.
It reminded me of as a kid, you know, when you talk into the can.
Oh, right, it goes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Same. So now, it says, we're gonna do the experiment or activity with the hand. So you can set your spoon, feather aside. And take one hand and just hold it out like this. And look at it. And like in the middle, and just focus on that part of your hand. We'll do that for a while.
You're in trouble.
So where your attention goes, your energy flows. So if you focus on there, energy is going to flow there. Blood is actually gonna be moved by your thought of looking at that part of your hand. You might feel something.
Yes,
A pulsation.
Yes,
I feel it.
yeah, a pulse.
So take your little pointer finger on your other hand. I was trying this. And don't touch your hand, but get close to it and see if you feel something. Like an electromagnetic field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Cool.
So if you have some kind of problem in your body, a pain, you know, whatever, you can spend time focusing on that, like a need, whatever, and pray, you know, send blood and whatnot to there and bring healing.
I've been doing that a lot on my shoulder when I'm laying around. Either touching it and trying to send positive energy there, trying to remember what Kirby talked about, just focusing on that. And either praying over it or just I'm not very good at being still, so I have to pray over it. I can't shut my mouth and just sit there. I gotta think about it. But I feel like that's helping my shoulder heal faster.
Right. Well, it's amazing. I mean, you can feel the electromagnetic field, the biofield, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So, the healing machine, I guess I don't have as much to talk about as I thought, uses the subtle frequencies of microcurrents and vibrations to affect the health of the body and mind. Like, some of the programs are electric, but some of them are vibration. You just hold it, you don't feel anything, but it's going through you, it's subtle, it's bringing healing and changes in your body. So that's an example of that. Another thing that I do, and I've been doing it for years, and all of this has just made me understand it better. Cranial sacral massage uses subtle energy flow and the cranial fluid flow, which is in your brain and goes down your spine, to help the body restore health to itself. And it's all about, I mean, I just put my hands on people and it's no more than the weight of a nickel. It's very light.
You massage.
No, I touch the head or close to the head, but there's no real massage. Actually, it's just touching and moving the fluid and energy in the body.
So let me ask you this, because I used to work with therapists, massage therapists, and they would talk about when they're in that flow, they can feel the direction and the energy of where they're going. And then if the energy is blocked, they can literally feel that there's no movement. So kind of explain, what do you feel when you're actually working on
What
something?
I feel? I feel pulsation or lack thereof. Like if I'm putting my hands on somebody and I don't get the pulsation, then I know that area is okay. And if I touch it and it starts pulsing like this, of course it's not doing it like that, but I just feel it, it's like really strong, then I know there's a problem there. I need to stay there and work on that part of the body.
Until the fluid goes into like a flow.
Right, yeah.
Huh.
And you don't take your clothes off for it or anything. It's completely just like energy and stuff.
Well, the therapist can actually feel the flow of the spinal fluid, or they call it the cranial rhythm.
Yeah, great.
And you can feel it from the top of your head down to your tailbone. The people that are sensitive to that.
And you can go to any part of the body and feel it.
So after you get done with the cranial massage, how does a person typically feel?
Well, you probably should feel relaxed,
Yep,
but
because I've had that, yeah.
you might, if you go in there and you have a pain, you might still have the pain, but then the next day it might be gone. That's my experience.
The first time you do it, you think this is really weird because the word massage is there and they're barely touching you. And you're kind of like, okay, what's she doing? But if you go more times, and if you have some kind of blockage from trauma, emotional trauma, or physical trauma, or a scar, or surgery, and that energy is blocked, cranial sacral therapist can restore that flow, and it promotes healing.
And one time I get a cranial sacral massage every week. One time I left and I just overcame with grief and crying, and it had to do with something in my past, I realized. That was released during the treatment.
I don't know if the right word is, but there's deliverance from whatever.
Well, your body stores pain and events.
Right.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
And that can release it, help release it. So musical frequencies and vibration can be used to change the body's frequency and cause healing in many ways. And if that's what you're seeking from the music, it shouldn't be super loud. be subtle. You can even turn it down so you don't even hear it, and it's still going to send out its vibration frequency. Like Eddie and I play it all night long, but I can't hear it. I have it down low. And, what was I gonna say? Oh,
Do you find that you sleep better, or you do it because you're trying to absorb those frequencies?
well, I do it because I'm trying to absorb the frequency, and I'm hoping it's gonna help me sleep better.
Okay.
You ask Eddie.
It helps me fall asleep very easily. I fall asleep pretty easily. Honestly, it doesn't keep me asleep all night. Those nights that I can have that on all night and actually sleep all night, I'm so rested the next day. Unfortunately, I've got 40 plus years of waking up multiple times during the night, and old man reasons to wake up now. And so I can't say it keeps me asleep all night, but I'm more rested than before we started doing this. How long we've been. But I do fall asleep pretty easily with this. Before, I still fall asleep, I guess, relatively easy, but this just is like instant. Music's on, turn out the light, and then I'm not.
Yeah, he really likes it, he always wants it. Well, I didn't go to Cedar Creek because my dog Duke, something happened to him, I don't know what. He had a stroke,
Oh.
or took him to the vet or something. And he couldn't walk, it was just horrible, and he couldn't eat food by himself, he had to be hand-fed. And I can't remember what else. He was just, something happened to his eye, and just, so I started playing this music for him all the time. He sleeps in my office most of the time, and I just turn it on whenever he's been exposed to it, and he has improved. He can walk now, which is good, but he still can't in his
He's
eyes.
still 14 and deaf and blind, but every Monday night when you guys are over here, you see him. He visits everybody.
Constantly.
Yeah, he loves to have
Yeah.
it. Yeah, he would caress his fur.
So I'm motivated on Monday to
So most,
participate.
What frequencies do you usually, are you listening to at night?
528.
And it's usually, it's not necessarily a song, it's just the frequencies that.
No, it's like, you've heard
Like
of
you
my
do
music.
on
Yeah,
the
it's like
organ,
that.
I mean, it's not, yeah.
I started doing something a little different, I mean, I don't know if you're interested, but, now I record the frequency, which, the frequency, every note, say on a piano, is a different frequency. So all the notes on the low end are low frequencies. And so all the notes up here are higher frequencies. So I record the frequency that I'm trying to do, and it's usually high. And I record it for an hour. And then I make my recording, and then I combine them. And that way I don't have to, it's stressful to try to constantly get up there and get this higher note. You know, so now I know it's going through the whole entire song, but before it was just like here, you know, occasionally. So I'm doing that now, and I really like it, and I feel better about what I'm doing.
So you're doing different frequencies in what you're doing now? It's
Well,
got
before I just played a song, and I tried to hit that note,
frequency,
as often as possible. But I can't hold it the whole time. It's,
right.
And it's really high. And it just pierces through everything. So now I'm recording that note, just sustained.
Oh, so you can get it to go,
I'll
the
be
recording.
always
right,
and I turn it down lower.
yeah.
Because it's not necessarily pleasing sounding. Because it's so high, you know, the higher you go, the higher you get. So now, and I just think it sounds a lot better.
And then you're saying you can even turn the sound down,
Yes,
and
you
the
don't
frequencies
even
are still going through the room, whether you're actually hearing them
Right.
or not.
I have it on right now, down
Cool.
really low. 528 is most people's favorite, you know, just for that kind of thing, or healing.
What does 528 mean?
That's it. Okay, go ahead, do that.
It hurts.
Frequency means the number of repetitions of an event or a cycle or a wave in a period of time. So when we say something's 528 hertz, we mean that it occurs times 528 times in a second.
Wow.
Repetitions. The frequency refers to how many repetitions of the event or the sound the waveform makes in 1 second.
So fast.
So if it happened twice in a second, it would be 2 hertz. And we can, I don't have that information in front of me, but we can only hear down to a certain hertz and up to a certain hertz. Of course, you know, animals are different. And if you got hearing aids, it's even worse. What else? Oh, and the octaves, like A down here is 444, and if you go up 8 notes, A equals 888 hertz. Okay, that's enough of that. Anyway, yes, I've got a lot of, I'm trying to make a website and I have a Facebook page. Okay, people are always saying, how can I raise my frequency? Well, this scripture, Bonnie, could you read this, please?
Finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good report. If there is any excellence, and if anything worthy of praise, let your mind dwell on these things.
So that's one way to raise your frequency. And then I was thinking that another way is to experience and enjoy what God has created and that blesses, you know, anything. So like nature, everything in nature, loving relationships, Him, self, ascensions, stillness, music, practicing His presence, if you know what that means, it's the name of a book. Certain essential oils, they have frequencies and they can increase your frequency. Healthy foods as compared to processed food is going to lower your frequency. In a way, it's kind of like sludge. You know, I mean, I eat it too. I'm just saying, it's not going to help you raise your frequency. Worship, reading the Word of God, gardening, do something nice for someone. You know, you usually feel good after you do something nice, even for a stranger or someone you love. Co-create with God and just be loving. That will raise your frequency.
One of the things was ascensions.
Yes.
So what's that?
Shonda, why don't you?
I know about ascending is upward, but I didn't know it in this context.
So repeat that again, because I was
What
like,
is an ascension?
What is an ascension?
ascension it basically is elevating or going up. It's like what she was talking about with raising your frequency. I mean, these things right here, I think, can help cause you to go up and raise your, frequency, not only in your soul, but also in your spirit.
Well, because I said it, I'm looking at, practice these things, stillness, music, practice His presence, and welcome, sensual wills, those things. So I thought ascensions was such like lifting your hand for worship, but then worship's number 12.
Ascension, we've been doing some ascensions. This is where we go up to heaven.
Oh, okay.
You
That,
engage or
In the
engage
spiritual
Yep.
realm.
that realm.
yeah.
Intercessors do it regularly.
Yep.
They go up and intercede, those things are lifting you above the positive things.
I love that.
guess.
So that will raise your frequency.
Yes.
Anytime you're with God, raise your frequency. He is the highest frequency.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, and another good to connect it would be in Revelations where, Yeshua said to come up. There's a door.
To John.
It was a John, to John. Or Ezekiel, when he, brought him up into the spirit.
I love that.
Mhm.
That's good.
Can you turn that down, please? So are there any other comments or questions about all of these things I talked about? And there's so much more that I didn't talk about.
We can do a part 2. What you guys think?
Yep.
No. This is part 2. I'm going to post on the page the video about the water and how it forms if you talk nice to it or if you talk bad
Right,
to it,
those are
stuff like
good.
that. So if you're interested in finding out about that, it's really cool if you've never seen it.
Is this on the Facebook page?
It'll be on the
Face to face, this is face.
face-to-face page.
I gotta get on that.
Well, I think I'll make sure you're on it.
So while we're talking about frequencies and vibrations, explain a little bit about the plants, because I think Rose and I were talking the other day about, plants have energy and frequency, and when you talk to them, I've heard people say, the more you talk to them, the better they grow.
Oh, right, yeah, since I've gotten into, I go out and say, grow strong and be healthy and display the glory of God, and stuff like that. Just encouraging them to be what they're created to be, their beauty and everything.
Do you think by you doing that, that's created a beautiful garden that you have?
Yes, and there've been experiments performed where people actually played certain kinds of music and different things, and there is a big difference in the plants.
Right. They did an experiment, and just kids in a classroom with apples. They bring apples, and one set would speak good to this apple, and the other set would be mean to the apple, speak mean. And that apple that was spoke mean to rotted immediately. The other one stayed.
What
That's
power?
cool.
Yeah.
So this tells
Because
us
it's
a
a
lot.
frequency, it's a higher frequency, good things.
So fascinating. That's powerful for ourself.
Right.
What we speak to ourselves.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
hitting home.
It's what we say is very powerful.
Yeah.
It's a frequency. What our sound is frequency.
Have you ever seen that plant? I don't know if it grows in the United States, but you touch it and it can fold up.
Oh yeah, what is that?
And it
It's flying.
Oh,
it's
not
flying
just
fly
trap.
trap?
Yeah,
no,
Venus.
not Venus. Well,
Or
that's
something.
that
like
is one, but there's another one. I was watching a movie and the other day a guy was laying in a field and he touched it and it just kind of gently folds over and not to catch anything. It's just a
Just
reaction
retracts, yeah.
to a human touch. So, is it an electric impulse, or what is it, a physical that makes that plant
That's
react?
fascinating.
Oh, the frequency.
Yeah, it
Vibration.
has to be. But it's an interesting. It's not benefit. Venus flytrap. Traps the
Trying to
fly
catch
in.
something,
Yeah,
yeah,
and it
right.
absorbs the nutrients. But this plant is just doing it as reaction. I don't know if it's defensive or a mechanism or what. But anyway,
Probably.
what you were saying just made me think of it.
Yeah. So, to kind of conclude, we're all have a lot of empty space in us. Just think about the grain of sand and the big football. It's mind-blowing. But our molecules and atoms and electrons are all vibrating in frequency, and it's getting to the air, which is we affect each other, we affect the air, and then it goes over to Shonda, and then it's going all over, you know what I'm saying? We're all touching each other in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot I had one more picture, I don't know where it went, but it just showed the biofilm around the person. And so we're connected to other countries, everybody in the United States. I mean, it's just fluid spirit all over.
That's good.
Yeah.
What comment would you say about people who practice, I don't know, New Age stuff, and they say, from the 60s, you have a awesome aura about you. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, I just think a lot of things that they do in the New Age movement, which they're still doing it now, are really similar to things that we're doing.
That's it.
Foundation. basic,
I
yeah.
mean, they're seeing the truth, and we can see the same truth, but we're using it in a different way
Uh-huh.
and experiencing.
So you don't think that New Age stuff taints what you're talking about?
No, because, you know, God created us with
That's
this
it.
biofield. Now they see it and they call it an aura and, you know, woo.
Yeah,
We're calling it a biofield.
Bring it back to God's purpose.
Okay.
Instead of whatever their purpose.
Cause they took and they duplicated,
Mhm.
you know,
Perverted.
they perverted it, cause it was originally,
Imitations, yeah.
it was originally
Yeah.
created with the way that the Lord wanted it,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
you know. Good example is Moses and, you know, those, what do you call them?
Magicians.
The magicians, yes, when they came, you know, the Lord, when Moses brought the snake out, they had to bring the snake out. I mean, everything that he did with Yahweh, they had to duplicate. But then at the end, Yahweh was
They
bigger.
couldn't,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, he proved himself. And so it's been before the beginning of time. It's never stopped. They take and they duplicate. And then they, you know, people claim that they want to see themselves as originator, which they're not the originator, you know,
Only God.
the source. Yeah.
So if we train our antenna to be sensitive to spiritual things, and our whole body is one big antenna, but our mind is an antenna, and our spirits. But we can probably feel people's auras, their biofilm. I mean, if you've been around people and they're like, ugh.
Yes.
Kind of thing. Or you meet somebody and think, oh, I really like this person. So you don't really know them, but you're feeling whatever they're giving off.
Mm-hmm.
Good energy.
I have used
Yeah.
that word "aura" in a conversation with someone because I just felt led because this person didn't understand the spiritual language, and I said the word "aura" because you know they were able to understand it.
Mhm.
And so sometimes you just come down to, I shouldn't say come down, but you just, you know, co-create how Yahweh is wanting you to relate with someone else.
Mhm.
You know, and they were able, I mean, we had a very perfect, I mean, it was just a very inspiring conversation because I just was talking their language. And then my little brother, I mean, he's used the word karma. I've said karma.
Mhm.
Now, I wouldn't use it all the time, but when we're talking, that's what he understands.
Mhm.
Which is like reaping what you sow.
Yeah.
It's reaping the same thing as reaping and sowing.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
karma, and so it doesn't matter which word you use.
It's a principle of
Yeah.
God's world. Right?